Hey love bugs, it's Roslynn back at you one more again. I hope everybody is doing blessed. I'm doing blessed and highly favored and definitely hope the same for you. And if this is your first time stopping by my channel, much love to you and welcome. And to my returning subs, to my growing extended beautiful family, as always, thank you so much for the love and support. It's truly appreciated. And if you feel like the videos just give you good vibes, and you feel like you want to go ahead and vibe and send that to somebody else, please go ahead and do so. It'll be greatly appreciated. So with that being said, much love to all. Namaste. Love and blessings, love and light, and many blessings are definitely coming your way. And I hope you're able to resonate with the content of my videos. Y'all, it was really last minute, so I decided to go ahead and do it live. So I apologize for the issue of quality on here, if it is kind of messed up. So is when I start doing it in the morning, then I can go ahead and do it all, all spoofy oofy and all that stuff. But anyways, this video is called Twin Flame 101. Heyokas. Dark moment shows you so much you didn't think you needed to see. And that is so true. When we have came across the new moon, as well as the turn this music down. I wanted to drown me for what I'm saying. Especially the 222 portal and all that stuff. And then we had, February 22nd, 2022. When I tell you, it has really showed you the green light. It was like the green light, red light special on everything. Just truth on what it all is. I had to go ahead and take me a hiatus. I'll tell y'all real quick. I had to take my hiatus just to be able to clear my mind, just recharge, be, very solid on my self-care, and just basically looking at my life in a nutshell, how far I've come, being able to appreciate all chapters in my life, loving the fact of people being in my life and supporting me, and the people that have left my life, or there's people I had to let go of and all that stuff, but still appreciate everybody just for being there, being able to know your worth on everything. There's a lot of times where so many different things is coming at you, and it can be very heavy, and it could get to that point where, you're just really trying to breathe it. I mean, when I tell you is like challenging your heart chakra in so many different ways, you could be struggling spiritually, emotionally, sexually, just mentally, psychologically, all those different things. And this is to show you where you truly are. And a lot of time growth and change comes in very, very intense ways, and you have to be able to take it as gratitude, as like, what, yeah, this crap really sucks. But this is something I really needed. A lot of times change and growth is going to come to you painfully. That's why it's just like, growing pains. You're going through that growth, but a lot of times it's very painful, and you will see so many dark moments that get you to embrace your light. You're deadening that ego. You're allowing yourself to, evaluate your projections. Are you projecting out healthy vibrations, healthy boundaries? Are you allowing yourself to get taken advantage of? Are you not seeing the clear signs of different things of telling you what needs to be let go of, acknowledged, appreciate, and just discard it? Or allow yourself to use that as a growth process, of saying, never be shameful of the things that I've gone through. When we're an empath, we have health, we have a giving heart, and a lot of times it can be taken advantage of, and we learn through those growths. A lot of times it's hard to be able to, be it's prideful. It goes in the definition of being prideful and being grateful. Prideful is where we feel like we have to get back at people, be vengeful on things. You have to understand nobody's perfect. I had to really allow myself to self-evaluate on that, because there's so many people I had to let go of, or I felt like there had to be some kind of closure, and a lot of times that let go has to be closure for you. A lot of times you have to be able to allow yourself, don't go in deep to where you feel feel like, why is our relationship not working? And that has to be, ace boon coons, homies, significant others, side boo-boos, or whatever you want to call them. All these different things. Are these connections healthy with me? Is this something about my growth? Everything is about your growth, but this is about your growth. Or do I need to stay connected, or I need to accept what was, what is, and allow, what it cannot continue to be, and that's where the new year is already started. We're already in our second month, heading into our third month. And it was just like, we went through the craziness of the crazies, through the last few years. And when I say it's been the last few years, it's like ever since I've been on my spiritual journey. My life has already been hell, but it got crazier when I went on my spiritual journey. And for when I can say right now, from where I'm at, even though I'm not exactly where I want to be, I'm so grateful for how far I've come. Going through these different things has not been easy for me. I tell people real quick, I'm very transparent. I say things if I know it's going to help someone else. There's other things that I just tend to keep with myself, just because the left hand don't need to know what the right hand doing. But it's just, the fact is, when you can allow yourself to say that you are really going through a growth process, it's not easy, to where you had to allow things to subside, but had to take yourself out the equation of being around others. At that point, you had to go through isolation and solitude for really, what was going on in your life. If you really wanted to take your life to that next level, you have to be able to do that. When we're doing our light duty work, we have to really allow ourselves to know, we are not, we're a healer with our experience of showing others how to heal. And a lot of times with us doing light work, we feel like we have to be that connection to make somebody heal, show them towards the ropes of that. And that is not what we do. I had to learn that the hard way. A lot of times we feel like we need to be in people's lives, or we need them in our lives to help us heal. And it's just like, if that person is going to be there, they're going to be there regardless. That person wants to see the most out of you. They're going to really push you out your comfort zone and say, you know what, you're sleeping on yourself. I really can see that you can do better. I feel that energy you got to do better. Do better. Now, that's a person that you need to have in your life, where they're showing you, no matter what you're going through, I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to be your ride or die. You've been there for me. I'm going to be there for you. But I want to see the most of you. Yes, this is what we're going through. It's not easy. It is not easy. Nobody told us it was going to be, you're going to start losing family. You're going to start losing friends. Your bank account may be questionable. You don't know if you're going to have a job the next day. You don't know if you're going to have a paycheck at the end of the month. These are the different things that you're going to go through that strength, when they're holding on to something. Universe is holding on to something to create better for you. And a lot of times we have to go through that battle of what we're going through. That's what spiritual warfare is for. When we are supposed to be that one that's creating something that people on the ordinary that has small minds, and I mean closed-mindedness, not small minds, but closed-mindedness, to where they feel like there's no possible way of you to have any kind of positive outcome from a traumatic circumstance. A lot of times it can really lead somebody down a bad path or a bad direction. Yes, that is possible. It's all on the power of choice of what you choose to select. You can allow the things that has gone into your life and let them swallow you whole. Or you can allow yourself to look at the mirror and say, you know what, I had enough of you. All this pity party I had for myself, people leaving my life and giving lame excuses on why they're doing it. It's okay. Not everybody meant to stay in our lives, and it could be all those different things. Or why does it seem like when I'm supporting people, they're not supporting me back? Number one, where we failed, that's our big mistake on a lot of times. That's how we get hurt. I had to come to the point where I feel like, because I've said it even on my channel, where I've helped people out, and I end up getting stabbed in the process when people in egos, really got in the way. They could be at that time, oh, I support you, Roz, and, I never feel this way, never feel that way. And then there'll be a term where my life, or you know the spirit and the power that I have, because we all have it. It's just up to you to be able to open up to it, connect with it and project it. But there's a lot of people that are still on that part of not feeling worthy of themselves. And this is not taking down on anybody, because I've been there, with myself, not feeling worthy of myself, not allowing myself to connect with my power in the full frontal of it. I was scared of it. And there's a lot of people that are out there like that, and they move through ego, and we don't understand why that happens, but it happens at times. And I had to be able to tell myself, when you're giving out blessings, don't ever think that something has to be reciprocated. Don't look for anything, because when you look for something to come back to you the way you served it, you can get your feelings hurt. Because a lot of people, you have to understand, and I had to be that way too, where I had to look at both sides of the street. And that's, when I tell you I was looking at everything, this is where I'm giving you the whole gusto. I had to really see, there are some people that know my story, those people that know my power, and I love them. And I love both, whether it's good or bad, because there's some people that know me, and they really know me, and they have stuck by me, and they have not changed the scent, and they know who they are out there. And, I always tell them I love y'all to death for that, because it's not easy with my kind of situation to have people in my life and let them be genuine and not make them feel a certain type of way. And it's not for me to be looking down at anybody or thinking I'm better than anybody else. I don't. But sometimes other people's ego can be that way, and there's times we have to understand, when we are allowing ourselves to use, we're being used as somebody prayer being answered. We are being used as somebody blessing that we're undergoing and unfolding towards them. But it's not a guarantee that's going to be reciprocated to you. It's not going to be guaranteed that that person is going to stay into your life. Not everybody is meant to stay on your journey. And that was something I had to swallow and really digest quick, because I knew if I wanted to not have the reoccurring same problems, I had to really look at truth the way it really was and digest that, and be able to digest it and swallow it without choking on it. And those are the things that I can really appreciate for what has happened into my life. What I've gone through has not been easy. It still hasn't. It's a day by day basis. I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, I'm going to be all copacetic and optimistic and, and be all sunshine and rainbows every day. It's not easy for me. Especially when it comes to this month and next month after that. It is really hectic for me, and it's really trying and triggering at times. And people that know my situation understand why I say that. But it is just like being able to understand your life, even if it wasn't, there's times I've cried and said, I didn't pick this. I didn't want this. But then it was just like, I appreciate this. This is something that, I know I was made for. Even though I didn't feel like I was made for it, I'm knowing now, damn right, I was made for this. And it reminds me of the song. And when I see it, I used to get really emotional, because I seen my father when I heard this song. It's called Chasing the Sky. And it came from the show Empire. And it was like, I felt like I couldn't do this, and it's like, I didn't have the status. I didn't have the qualifications. And a lot of times we don't know our worth, because we feel like we're not worthy enough, just because of the people that we have had in our lives, people that placed doubt in our lives, made us feel like we weren't worthy of this, worthy of that. We couldn't succeed at this. Our dreams was too high. We were wanting too much in our lives. And I feel like, if you feel like you can be the president, you run for that mess. If you feel like you can do it, run for it. And I always used to tell my kids, because they're like, oh, I want to be this, I want to be that. And I had to do something that I only heard from my mom. I only heard it from one side, not both sides. But my mom always used to tell me, you can do anything you put your mind to. It's up to you to do that. And I'm so glad still to this day. I'm still glad, even though my mom is, up in the sky. I hear her all the time tell me, I'm proud of you. It's just, she really sees how much dark moments I have. And I still try to stay strong for myself. Not, I have weak moments, and I tell people that the real recognize real when fake want to linger in the room, and it's okay. A lot of times people don't have that boldness to address their own elephant in the room, and that's okay. We have to be okay with that. Even though, I had to allow myself to not be judgmental, because I can be judgmental as hell. And I had to practice on that. You can't judge anybody. You can't sit up here and fault other people because they don't want to heal. It's everybody's journey, because there's a time when we probably got that same kind of talk and we weren't ready to heal. You can't force somebody to heal when they're not ready to. And it's just like with us, you can ignore that mess all day, and then you'll start seeing hell break loose in your life just because you're ignoring it. And it's allowing you. And there are some people that can live life being that way, but not you. Not you. Your soul will not let you do it. It will kick you in your arse and will tell you, look, we did not create you to be here just being. You were chosen, you were anointed for this, that, and the third. Yes, this stuff is hard. There's going to be some good days. You have to be grateful for it, just like you don't have to have bad days. And you have to be grateful for that too, because all lessons are moving through your moments of time. If time existed, you're going through frequencies, and all those frequencies is going to add an extra part of you. It's going to want a higher part of you. And that's why a lot of things come to us and it feels uncomfortable, because we're in a different frequency. A lot of times we feel like healing old ways. You can't heal in old ways because you're not that old person anymore. When you woke the hell up and you found out who you were, that was already a new version of you. And it just, everything fell apart. You couldn't work at jobs and look at it the same way. You weren't going to allow yourself to be boxed in at a certain level, or being in where society said that you have to be in by your daggone race, your bank account, or your color, stuff like that. Or you had friends just falling out your life left and right. People looked at you crazy. Even the way you started seeing things when folks wanted to stay asleep and sleeping on themselves, you had no choice but to stay woke, because that mess got very uncomfortable. You were already feeling deep, but when you woke up, you start feeling things at a whole different frequency. And it's at that point where I had to be, what it is. And it's not being a itch with a B on it, or just trying to act like you cocky, you into yourself. When you sure of yourself, a lot of people think that's narcissistic, being arrogant or conceited. No, you have to see your worth at the highest worth. It's not saying you looking at other people and saying you're better, but you have to look at yourself and say, I'm becoming better. And that's how I had to look at myself, even though I didn't accept what I was, because I see that my trauma and my tragedy has changed me drastically. Because I had good moments, but I had bona fide, hellified bad moments, and it got to that point where I was contemplating not living anymore. There was different times where I wanted to retaliate, because I was enraged with a lot of things that I felt like people that I really trusted and I loved just stabbed me in the back in every kind of way for financial issues, all those different things. And now it's just like, I needed to see that. I needed to digest that. God doesn't owe me a daggone thing, even though I felt like I was betrayed and lied to in the worst kind of way. You already know. There is always darkest before the dawn. There's 3 things you can't hide too long in life. It's the sun, the moon, and the daggone truth. And I had to know that if I knew that I was moving in good intent, and I know I stayed with my truth and not giving a damn about what people thought, if they thought I was lying, this and this and this and that. If I know I was sure about my truth and not worried about what other people may see me, think of me, or whatever, then that's all that mattered. I already know that I'm going to be a walking billboard of a blessing towards myself, regardless on anybody else that was able to see that billboard of a sign. I knew I was. That was my purpose. And when you're sure of yourself and you stay real with it and you stay clear with it and allow yourself to hold high standards for yourself, you're going to have enemies. That is one thing. You're going to have enemies when you allow yourself to not be manipulated, when you can see a crooked, when you staying straight. when you know you being force-fed BS and you call that mess out, half of the time you don't even got to call it out. A spade gonna be a spade regardless, but when you know you're allowing yourself to stay in that change and not being that yes person, or not holding your tongue because you feel like somebody may take it the wrong way, or somebody may feel uncomfortable with you saying it. I always tell people, if you don't like the stuff that I'm dishing, hey baby, get up from the table. You may choke on my kind of cuisine. You may not want that kind of cuisine. And I've had people challenge me like that. And it's okay. It was okay. It had to be at that point where I know there's difference between, and I tell people, you don't have to agree with everything I'm saying. You don't have to agree with anything I'm saying. That's not my point on making my point. I'm an INFJ. I'm a twin flame. I'm a Heyoka. I'm an indigo, I'm a Wiccan, all these other different things. You can't convince me something. You can't pee outside and tell me it's raining. That's one thing you're not going to do. I can tell when somebody's speaking their truth and they have a different opinion than me, or trying to be passive aggressive. And you speaking through your ego, because I said, baby, I left that at the doorstep and that's not welcome. I'll pull that welcome mat real quick. I ain't about time. I'll just block and delete you. Or if I feel like I gotta say something, I'll say that and just be done with it. I'm not gonna argue with you. I'll tell you, hey, we can agree to disagree. But if you're INFJ, you can tell whatever you need to. But if they believe in a certain thing, even though they can be open-minded and see the way, I understand your differences and your views on saying that, but I'm still solid in mine. Can we still agree to disagree? And if you're an open-minded person, it's like, okay, and I like that person, because number one, you ain't gonna sit up here and agree with me on a certain thing when you don't know what the heck I'm talking about. If you don't feel that way, then that's okay. And that's okay. But it's like, when I tell you, when we are in these dark moments, it really shows you things for what they truly are. You can see when people discard you, and you have to be okay with that, and not be, and a lot of times we will get our heart involved, and we will stay on that matter of what somebody's really done, how they treated you, how you didn't do them when they did you this way. You have to understand, if you're coming at somebody very genuine and you have their best interest at heart, and they want to discard that, you have to understand, number one, nobody is perfect. Number two, we have to look outside the box. And a lot of times it's hard for us because we have human experiences. We're spiritual beings in human experience. So there's times you have to understand, maybe that person is not used to somebody coming up, being real with them, or having their lives in concern with them, or wanting to see better for them, or being there. And, we can be there for each other, like when we're really going through our moments, and being that encouragement and say, you know what, bro, we got you. Sis, I got you. We have bad moments, and okay. Even our worst moments is strengthening us in the best ways. And sometimes it takes us to have to keep going through that to understand the lesson of what is being taught in that situation. There's going to be days where you just not going to, you're not going to get along with your family. You ain't going to get along with your kids. You ain't going to get along with your baby mama, your baby daddy, your husband, your wife, whatever, your parents, all these different things. Our parents probably was the ones that, brought us up in that narcissistic, toxic bond or whatever. You have to understand they had to be, something had to be narcissistic towards them for us to be like, wait. When you can actually say, you know what, I've gone through different things. I've been toxic myself. I've hurt people just like people have hurt me. I have to be able to allow myself to appreciate what they showed me, and that showed me my place where I needed to play with them. And sometimes that place is away, And like I was saying with this other situation, you don't know, maybe when you're used to somebody, you're not used to somebody being genuine with you. You're so used to people being in your life that has hidden intent, or they want to put you down, or they want to use you as that toxic doormat, just being able to discard you in any kind of way. And you stay there because that's something that you're used to, And when you come in at somebody genuine, you want to see the best out of them. You want to know how their day is, or, if they need, somebody to talk to, you want to be there, or you want that for yourself. That can feel very scary when you can see that we normalize toxicity so much. When somebody comes at you genuine, that it gets you in a whole hostile background, like you don't know. Or this is a person where they're sure of themselves and they make me question my own self. It's not about that. When you ask somebody, you ask God, you don't realize you could be that person on that prayer board for somebody. I had to learn that. When I say I had to be on that, and I mean, it can hurt really bad, because I've seen people I've had in my life for years, and they straight showed their ass by just jabbing me in mine, and I would take that to heart for so long and be ready to, like, I want to snatch you bald just because you played me like that. I've had people do it here, and there'll be people that I've helped, had genuine love for, and that was happening. But I said, you have to understand, you don't know what that person's going through. Even though it was directed towards you, it's nothing personal. Even though they directed it towards you, it was nothing personal. That person's going through something. It could have been something that you survived and they haven't. Or it could have been something like you could have had an illness and somebody around them had people like that had the same kind of illness or even worse and dropped out their life. And they looking at you like, why are you still living? And the people that I love, this still isn't. I mean, I had to go through different stuff like that. Or people felt that, just the way I looked was already triggering to them because of something that they didn't look like. And this is not something that's arrogant, but I'm talking about in bloodlines. My image or how I looked, because I was ready to disfigure myself because I knew it was a trigger to certain people. Just because I looked like somebody they wanted to be accepted by, or they felt like they weren't accepted enough, or it was somebody they despised. It was like, even with my mom, my biological mom, I know I'm a trigger to her. I still love my mom to this day. Now I had to accept that she didn't want to talk to me. She didn't want to be in my life because that was the only living parent I had left. And, with you being adopted, you would know you want to know that part of yourself. And then with me, she knows what I look like. It was very painful for her because it was like, she was in love with my dad. Her and my dad were supposed to get married, but I look just like my dad. A dark version of her skin complexion, but look just like him. And with him passing away, that was something that she couldn't digest, through everything that was told to her just to keep her away from me, just for her to be scared of me, and that was something I had to deal with. And there's times where I looked at when I can really just lay my truth out on the line, no matter how painful it was. And I said, girl, you are damn strong with everything that you're dealing with. And then you're still helping other people, even though you were denied so much love in your life. You're still encouraging, you're still nurturing the other people. And you really don't know the strength that you carry from the tragedies that you've gone through. If you know you were neglected love and you still show love to somebody, do you realize how strong you are? Because there's so many people out here that's not loved. They rather be comfortable with throwing hate because that's what they're so used to. They normalize that. If you have not had been that person was able to conceive kids, but you're so motheringly, or, you play that strong mother role or that strong father role, and you never had the opportunity of having children. That's so strong. Because there's parents that out here that looks like, there's some of them that look like they don't even need to be having a scrotum or some ovaries, the way that these kids be going around. Like, I'll be looking at folks like somebody needed to snatch this stuff out a long time ago because of the way they do their children. And there's people out here that wants kids, and they're most parenting parents that don't even know what parenting is, but carry that role of that. And that's called strength, especially if you've never been able to experience different things like that. And that's why they always tell us, you know what, you are so much stronger than you give yourself credit for. Because a lot of times we don't realize how much we are of a blessing when all we do is focus on our hurt. And that really touched me right there in an emotional sense, because I've been there. I focused on how I was denied, how I was lied on, how I was cheated. And it's just like, yes, you were these things, but this is not defining of you. This is the strength for you. When you know you can use your life as an honest stepping stone, not a pedestal, but a stepping stone, to be able to tell people, I went through this, I went through that. It led me to my purpose to help other people. It's not easy being who we are, because it triggers a lot of people. Even in our tribe, it can be triggering to a lot of people. And not knowing, just because you know who you are and you represent that to the fullest, and you're showing other people to do that, there's going to be somebody out there that's going to be inspired by your actions. But at the same time, you're going to be a walking trigger for a lot of people that wants to overlook and deny their own. You're showing them, they're allowing them to take notes. Because a lot of people, they just see what you choose to present, but they don't realize how far, what you had to go through to get there. I've had people do that to me, and not knowing, you just don't even know. It sucks to be in my situation where other people thought that was exciting or other people thought that was cool. It was hard to be in the situation I am, and it's still hard. But I know this is a part of my life. This is my birthright, and I'm not going to allow anybody to take that away from me. And that's where strength came from, because I was a weak person, denied my own power, because that's what I was shown to do. If I spoke my mind, I was being disrespectful. It was different times for being disrespectful, which I could really truly be. I ain't even gonna lie. I used to be that. But when I allowed myself to step in my truth, that was very triggering to a lot of people that wanted me, to be in that deceptive role. They wanted me to play the villain, because that's what they made me, that's what they projected towards others to be for me, because they didn't want that truth to, overstep the boundaries of their lives. It's okay. I said at night, I can still sleep okay. Even though I may not be able to sleep okay with what people done to me, I can be able to sleep good because I'm living right. I don't have to keep looking over my shoulder like that, because I know I'm protected. And that's what they need you to know about yourself. When we go through it, we really, really go through it. But it's not easy. And when you're allowing yourself to face your trauma, there'll be days you want to give up. There'll be days you don't want to live. It hurts to breathe, all those different things. Baby, that's a strength right there, because you're allowing yourself to feel that. They want you to feel it. They want you to be, what? I had a messed up moment because I got mad because somebody did me some type of way, and I didn't do them that way. Or I'm tired of myself not being heard. Or I'm tired of, being constant setback to setback. All those different things. And when you're allowing yourself to be honest about that, it's like, okay, what you going to do about it? Are you going to work hard? Hell yeah. You going to give up? No. I may need to pause a minute or two, but I'm going to come back, and I'm going to come back stronger than ever. Those dark moments told me to embrace my light. Because that light has always been there, but we had to be able to face our dark moments, and those things aren't easy. Because there'll be days you'll be going through it. You don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to wash your behind, brush your teeth. You just want to lay there and be in that self-loathing of pity party, of staying focused on whatever has happened to you, and not being able to say, this has prepared me for a blessing I didn't even know that I deserved. Because usually it's like I had to be able to digest that. If God is making me wait, He preparing me for something better. If He's showing me my enemies, He's letting me know, where do I need to have them stand in my life? Or how do I stand in theirs and act accordingly? God showed me who was in my life that stayed real. Or He actually showed me where people start getting shifty, where I need to make that decision to take them out of my life. Or He had to show me through different people that even though I was genuine with them, they weren't genuine with me. And a lot of times you have to understand, when people are not genuine with you, half of the time, they're not genuine with themselves. And they ain't got nothing to do with us. Because there's probably some times that you don't sit up here and chose somebody else's peace over your own. And you end up being up all night, can't get no sleep because you disturbed about what that person did when they sleeping good as hell. Because this is something that they're used to. You know, everybody's going through their growth right now. Everybody's going through their pain. But it's like we're divided. And that's the reason why we're bumping heads with a lot of entities. We're bumping heads with the old of ourselves because that new was trying to stay solid, saying, you know what? Appreciate where you were. But there ain't no reason. There is nothing important on looking back when there's so much to look forward ahead. And when I said I gotta chill like crazy, you know, because I used to focus on my past a lot and different things that people have done to me. What I've been robbed of, all that. I mean, people are here, you know, you've been with me for a while, you heard me say that. But now it's just like, even though they robbed, you can't take nothing away from me that is for me. And I had to be able to, you know, rehearse my lines a little bit better with myself. Having that self-talk is what's mainly important. Because when you allow yourself to look at yourself in a certain way, in a better light, you'll tend to speak better. You tend to see things better. Everything that you know is going against you is for you. Because it's like, not everybody's supposed to stay in your life. Not everything you run for is supposed to be in your life, because there's something that's coming better to take its place. We try to fight and pray for a relationship to be, be upholding towards us, when God's trying to say, no, we have something so much better for you. Stop trying to hold on to something that I'm trying to tear apart. You know, you pray for that. You know, I'm praying for this relationship, and that relationship is toxic as AF. And the best relationship that you can be in is where it first start off is the one with yourself. I had to learn that. Because it's like, oh, I want this, I want that, you know, I want me a kingdom husband, or you want a kingdom wife. You have to be that, you know, we looking for all this, but are we in that vibration to be able to open that up to what we are right now? Because a lot of times when we get frustrated, you have to be able to tell yourself, are you in alignment with what God is about to give you? Because whatever he's giving you, if he putting you through hell, he about to bless you with something that you ain't never thought you were going to be in. Because whatever is for you is going to be for you. I used to get bitter about different things that went on in my life that I felt like was stole from me, even what it was. And it was just like, God's like, oh, I got it. Don't even worry about it. I got it. And I had to really get to that point where I said, you know what? I have to start believing what God promised me. I can't believe the next person out here, because everybody for themselves. And I had to be able to see it as that. Not everybody is like that, but you have to have that mind frame that everybody's for themselves. They're going to look for the goodness of them. You know, it's going to come to a time where people will start being selfish and worry more about them than they are about you. And you have to be able to be that way with yourself. And that's what us empaths will have a problem with real quick, because we feel like if we say no, at times, you have to understand other people have no problem with telling you no. But you have to understand, like, if people, you have to be at love. Loving yourself is more than what you want other people to see to be loved. Because when you love yourself, you're going to attract just that. You know, you're going to attract just that. And a lot of times that mess can feel lonely. That's the benefit of it. Because when you notice you ain't attracting trifling folks, toxic people, and that mess start getting lonely, because you were shifting. You are no longer attracting that type of vibration anymore. Because we always wonder why we attract narcissists. We don't realize we are a narcissist blessing as well. We're a narcissist blessing as well as the worst nightmare. You have to understand that for number one. I already see this going to be a preaching video, but hey, I'm here for it today. But they are your worst nightmare and your blessing at the same time. You had to be ripped apart. You had somebody that had to question you, make you think less of yourself. And then you got to that point where I'm tired of being damn tired. Hold up now. You know I'm worthy of love, and this ain't love. This is control. This is toxicity, and this is codependency. I didn't know what none of this stuff was. I had to look it up. You know, like, what is a narcissist? I did not realize I was scattered around them mofos for a good minute. Hell, I was starting to conduct it being my own self. And it's scary that even sometimes your children can be that mirror image of that. And that can be so damn scary. And then it's just at that point when you get at that age where you can no longer mold them the way that you need them to be. Like if you're bringing them up in a good way, you're trying to be that positive role model for your children. A lot of times I felt like the things that I exposed my kids to, it made me feel like a failure. Because I've done so many things, I dropped out of high school, different things like that. But then I had to allow myself to say, no, you just had unhealthy situations. You have been in a vibration where this is what we lived and breathed as. My family has been in abusive situations, narcissistic situations, toxic situations. And I had to be able to know I was that person that had to choose to break that. And that is not that is not a easy situation to be able to do. It's not an easy situation to do. So when I had to be able to do that, you rewriting history. And we wonder, why does our lives have to be so hellish? You are starting a whole evolution just by the choices you choose to make right now. If they're positive, there's going to be some kind of negative forces going to make you try to rethink your whole decision. Hell no, I'm stuck on my positivity growth and my extended, role model of myself. Yes, I'm going to do that. Okay, well, it's going to make you go through a lot of setbacks, a lot of failed situations, going to be impulse decisions because stuff started getting uncomfortable. So we start making different choices based on the fact is I'm not comfortable in this decision. So I want to jump into this. And then we wonder why that failed. Because a lot of things that lead to great is going to have some kind of uncomfortability you're going to have to be able to deal with to get to greatness. And I had to learn that too. This is something that when I say dark moments teaches us stuff that we didn't know we needed to see. And a lot of times truth ain't pretty. It made me think about my girl, Jenny Aiko, when she said everything sweet is not sugar coated. It's not. Because there's a lot of times things will come at you and it can hit you hard and say it hurt. At least you being honest, that hurt. But what is that situation trying to tell you? Every person that is in your life and out your life has taught you something in your life that you needed. Because a lot of times we can be, I wish I never met that person. Or I wish I inbred with that person. I didn't do that, because a lot of us sit up here and not inbred, god dog, and, procreated with that person. That's what I meant to say. But, there'll be different times like why. Because there'll be different things that I see and it's just like, okay, that's my baby right there. You have gone through different choices. And even when you have been in narcissistic relationships and you notice that you're healing, you'll see that certain things in that relationship starts to get very uncomfortable for you. And a lot of times we have to understand and accept that narcissist for who they are. And you look at those terms up, you can't force a narcissist to change. Because they feel like they don't need to. They're perfect just the way they are. And you have to be able to accept them as that. But you also going to have to understand, they're going to make your life a living hell, especially when you start acting like you deserve better. Because God will make sure that he blocks you all in and like you can't walk away from this. You can't run away from it. You can't make that person disappear because I'll make sure you get that charge just for that. You need to leave that person, accept that for what it is. Boldly make that choice to say it's my life over this, and I'm going to choose my life. I deserve peace. I deserve happiness. I deserve to place love in myself. I placed love in something that wasn't loving me, but you had to go through that for you to be able to see that whatever you were lacking, you've been in that situation for you to get that back. You're taking your power back from people. If you've been in an abusive household and you can live off of that vibe, that trauma bonding to where we wore that coat. We wore that that S on our chest. We wanted to live off the fact is that we were robbed of something, that our innocence was taken away. And it's nothing like I'm saying that's the excuse. It's not. But it's at that point, whatever was ever robbed of you does not define you. You can be able to create something in a stature that's going to be like, you know what? If I know my innocence was taken, allow me to be the ambassador or that sponsor for being able to show how can I reaffirm myself to make sure even though my innocence was taken, my power wasn't left. That's going to show me I can still live with this. I don't have to have that scarlet letter on my chest to make me feel dirty about myself because something was robbed of me of that. I can allow myself to show people how can I reform myself. Or if I'm going through a domestic violence situation and I leave out of that bravely, because there's a lot of people that go through stuff like that and they don't live. And I tell anybody, because I got a lot of friends, people that I used to even talk to, them boldly left out of a situation like that. You did the strongest thing you did possible. Even if you had to start back at square one and scraping the bottom of the barrel, baby, you chose your life. You chose your peace. And when you have kids in that situation, it becomes harder because they've been programmed just like you were. They think that's normalization of being abused, talked down to. Somebody's more inferior than you. And it doesn't always have to be men that person is projecting that towards women. It can be women too. I've seen different situations where men were being battered. And some folks feel like that can't happen. It comes from both ways, where they can make you feel that person, when they know that they cannot, rule your life, manipulate you and control you. Oh, you become the biggest enemy. Anybody who will listen to what they got to talk to you, talk bad about you too, to make you looking like the scum of the fucking earth. They will do that. You know what I'm saying? And it's okay. Allow yourself to play that role and be praying for anybody who was willing to allow themselves to force feed and digest that. It's okay. There's always two sides to a story, but you got, is their truth, your truth, and the truth, but it's okay. How you feel about yourself is what matters. Because a lot of times you have to understand there's going to be people that don't like you. And I posted a video about this from, Creating Wonders. I love that dude. Because there's somebody out there that's very pissed at you because you chose distance over disrespect. You walked away when people were just giving you every reason to be enraged with them and just say, okay. Or if somebody want to do something to you to trigger you, okay, it is what it is. There's going to be somebody who's going to be pissed off because their life is usually fed on how they can make you upset. Or they get their vibes off and take your power away when you place it into their behavioral manners. They're like, oh, okay, that's just them being them. Girl, you ain't going to say no, hell no, for what? That's what they're waiting on. I'm not about to do that. If they want to argue, okay, well, I'm not gonna argue with stupid people, and put it that way. Be something like that when you're dealing with a narcissistic situation. I'm just not gonna argue with people like that. And it's not. Let me retort. I don't want to say I'm arguing with stupid people. Allow people to feel like, okay, well, I disagree with you. Okay. You ain't gonna argue with folks like that. I said I don't want to call nobody stupid because we are not stupid. We just have stupid decisions, stupid choices at times. But we learn from those situations, And it's just you when I say, and I keep saying that them dark moments show you so much about yourself. It will show you what you need to be entitled to, what you deserve. If you know you want something you ain't never got before, you're going to have to make moves like you never done. It ain't going to come easy for you. God will sit up here and put you through so much damage and stuff, and it'll make you hate God to the roughness. And he okay with that. And he'll tell us real quick, just like our parents used to. If you ever had parents that it's going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. Like, what the hell? I'm the one going through it. No, but I'm going to hate to have to put you through this because it's some kind of lesson that needs to be learned from that. You may not see it as a blessing now, but when you get to where you get to, you're going to be grateful for those days I didn't give you exactly what you wanted. You're going to be okay when you had every duck in the road that showed you yes and it was a no. No is always for a next opportunity. And they're telling you this for a reason. I wasn't trying to have this all drugged out today because I was just like, it's going to be a 10-15 minute video. But when universe has called me to talk about stuff for the realness of what it is, you never know what you need to hear that day. Because we're all battling something right now. Battling something that stay in a positive vibration when so many negative things is taking place. You trying to be in your faith when everything is discouraging you to believe that God is lying to you about whatever he promised you. It feels like the enemy got more priority than the person that's keeping it real do. We're all battling something. You probably going through a nervous breakdown and you trying to see everything in a logical way that this too shall pass. But it's like our hard times don't be, it's going to be one day you're going to see your hard times as your best times. You may not be there yet, but you have to be able to create and say, you know what, if I'm going through this, it's only preparing me for something I didn't know I needed in my life. My life is showing me things I didn't know I needed to know about myself, the better choices I need to make, be more selective about the people and the vibrations and the frequencies and the entities I choose to entertain. Allow my self-worth and my peace and my well-being never be compromised for anyone or anything. If people are going out my way to stay in my life, let me allow myself to make sure that they're a priority, not just when I'm not busy, but make sure that I take out of my busy schedule to make time for them when they're making time for me. When people want to see you as an inconvenience, start being unavailable. Or people, took your vibrations of being genuine for granted. Allow yourself to understand that's okay. And maybe a void they're going to have to feel later when they find out that they messed up or don't know that could have been a blessing that they just blocked for themselves. You're a blessing regardless. You are worthy regardless. You're prosperous regardless. But it has to come to a point where we have to start believing that. And a lot of times it's hard to do that when you got so much going on in your life. It's hard for you to be able to see I'm blessed. Even though I may not feel it right now, God got a blessing with my name on it out there. He just making me work a little bit more hard for it than I ever had before. So that makes me feel like he must have something very beautiful out there for me if he got me going through it like this. Because obviously there's something in my life that he's about to bring to me. He never want me to take for granted. There's got to be a blessing of a lifetime that he don't never want me to sit up here and sit on. Maybe I've had everything given to me, or I didn't have, I had to put a little bit of work in and I got that. But was it there to last? No, that was just momentarily. Like your situation is only momentarily. If they making you go through some stuff, they about to bring you into something great. It may take a long time. And I'll tell people used to tell me what's, when people are upcoming in YouTube, and I'm like, man, I've been doing this for 5 years. I don't really get that many views. I used to. But when I started cutting people out my life and stuff like that, it went down low, and I'm okay. Because there's somebody out there was inspired by something I said. Somebody appreciated because it was something they needed to hear that day. Somebody seen the realness in what I was saying. And they liked what that vibe I was giving out. And it was very nurturing to them. And that wasn't something that they were used to. And a lot of times it's like when you choose reality or being realistic and keeping it real with your life, a lot of times it's going to make you be in a small situation where you really going to have to work for it. Really have to work for it, because there's a lot of different things that I had in my life was very short-lived. There was a lot of people that invested on my pain. There's people that still invest on that, But then it was just like, if people work so hard to condemn you, they see something in you that you may be overlooking all the time. And I'll tell people, if you got little things that's trying to stop something, your little things is creating a bigger thing for you. And if there's not somebody out there challenging you, make you doubt yourself, trying to sabotage you or block you, they seeing something in you don't. You have to, and I tell people, and it may even hit, my enemies hate that, but you got to admire your enemies, because your enemies think you good. They think you're great. That's why they try so hard to convince you that you're not. That's why people do ignorant stuff to make you back away and be scared. And I always tell people, don't do that. You give them exactly what they want. You give them exactly what you want. Or, you know, I used to be that type of person where I felt some type of way. And my enemy's going to think they got the best of me because I done took some days off. You done took some days off. You ain't quit. That was their motive on doing, making you second guess yourself. All they got to do, they know your mind is very powerful. It's a powerful weapon. And when you allowing yourself to stand up for what you believe in, and they know that you can make a movement out of that, you know you can make a ripple effect in a positive way off of that, you're going to trigger a lot of people that way. I got a lot of enemies because of my truth. I got a lot of enemies because they want to keep the truth under the truth. They want to deaden that in so many different ways. They've tried to. They already have with one. They're trying to neck down the next one. And they still can't do that. You know, all those different things. I'll tell people real quick, my life been threatened. People try to kill me, take me off. But my God is protect me. Because he's like, I got a purpose out of that. You're going to live to see your blessing. Regardless of what other people say, you're going to still live to be able to see that blessing. You may not see that. You may not believe it right now, but you will. If you still here, that means your purpose is not fulfilled yet. Even when your purpose is fulfilled, you still got some stuff that you got to put on that. Because you're working through your blessings right now, through your struggles. You're getting to that. Your goals are coming through your obstacles. And you hear that all the time. Your blessings is on its way. You want to see the fruits of your labor. Everything you're going through is never in vain. You may not feel that way now, but it's going to be a time where you're going to sit there in tears, be like, damn, everything that God promised me is happening right now. I'm praying. I'm right where that prayer was a long time ago. I'm praying. Where I am right now is a prayer I had about 5-6 years ago. Seeing my strength, knowing my worth, knowing myself to not settle for anything. And people can't appreciate me. Let me be that one to appreciate me and make those better decisions to allow myself to discard anything that is going against me. Don't be mad. Don't hope vengeance on nobody. You know, because it gets to that point. Anybody that goes out their way to constantly hurt you. You know, I used to always say hateful things to my enemies. For what? I mean, it may sting a little bit, but they're already going through their worst anyway, just because of the hateful things they're doing to you. You cannot hurt a person that's already hurting. It adds to it, but it makes them just retaliate more. A lot of times you have to be able to just allow them to be in their struggle. You have to allow them to be in their suffering, and you still pray for them. You're supposed to pray for your enemies because that's where your blessing's going to be at. You don't become your enemy. You bless them. And you keep doing that. It's going to hurt a lot of times. Like, Lord, I don't know what I'm praying for. I don't know if I'm praying for you to go ahead and handle that so I don't go to jail. But let me pray for my enemies. And I'm being honest, but I'm being funny at the same time. But you have to be. You have to really pray for them because it's just the fact is they see something in you they don't see in themselves. And they have it. But they, you know, you have to understand not everybody willing to go through the stuff that you had to go through to get to where you found yours. You know, you may have seen somebody one day, it's like they're so sure of themselves. They so this, they so that make me sick. Now you're going to be in that version where somebody going to look at you in the same way. Even you probably had like a mustard seed of what you worked with and made a whole empire. You already know a mustard seed can go through anything because it's unimaginable. Of the mustard seed of faith. Because a lot of times people hate you because you can do so much with so little. And God don't put no budget on something like that because he know he can make you an empire out of something like that. He wants you to be able to find your way out of this shoebox and being able to appreciate that shoebox because he about to create you for a whole empire. People be laughing at you. It's okay. Let them laugh. It's okay. They don't want to believe you. It's okay. They don't support you. But you stay on your grind. You be consistent with yourself. Be consistent towards your growth. If you know you surpass that, add another challenge to that so you can surpass that too. When we start allowing ourselves to speak that growth into ourselves, we don't know just the words that we're speaking can create something so powerful. It's always in the power in the words. Everything we say about ourselves. So I hope you were able to resonate with this, y'all. I really love this video. I'm like, oh my God, when I say this has been powerful even towards me to speak it, because y'all know I be freestyling it. You know, just go off the title and just go with it. But I would love to give a post notification shout out, especially welcome to all the people that's been subscribing. It's truly a blessing. I would love to give a post notification shout out to Andreas Alvarez and Julie Lucas, and I hope I pronounced that. If I apologize if I haven't. I have replied to your email in case you haven't seen it. And Sam C, much love to you. And I will see y'all in my next video. Much love. Oh, yes, I'll leave all my contact information in the description box below. And, whatever you're manifesting into your life, trust and believe it's going to happen. It's going to happen sooner than you realize it. And it's going to be way bigger than you prayed for it. And even through social distancing, make sure that you give out love, light, positivity, words, vibes, frequencies. You just never know. You never know how that can really take somebody a long way. You'll see me on my next video. Much love. Peace. Yeah, that would have been